Hello friends, in this video we'll be taking a look at the autosomal DNA results, predicted phenotype, traits, and even ethnicity results of an Anatolian Neolithic farmer individual from Barcin in Turkey. This individual was a male and his Y-DNA is H2, his mitochondrial lineage is T2b, and this is where he is from. This is near the city of Barcin in Turkey, northwestern Anatolia. Let's go ahead and see what he scores with my trait predictor. We're gonna start with noshacot. So this is what he is scoring with noshacot. It seems that he is scoring light brown eyes. Either light brown or dark brown eyes, really, but light brown eyes, the likelihood of that is higher. It looks like he's also scoring black hair, so he's got black hair, light brown eyes, and light or fair skin. Interesting. Although there is also a 35% likelihood of intermediate or olive skin for him as well. There is pretty much no likelihood of dark or brown skin, so definitely quite light in terms of skin color. And this is the predicted eye color, the picture of the eyes that my web version of noshacot printed for him. When it comes to hair texture, he's either got straight or wavy hair, although there is also a possibility of curly hair for him, probably not kinky hair. He doesn't have kinky hair. Let's go ahead and check what his genotypes in OCA2 and HERC2 region are. So it looks like he does not have BEH1, but he's heterozygous for BEH2 and he's heterozygous for BEH4 as well. Very interesting. Obviously, there's a couple of dislinkages that happened here. Him having heterozygous genotype for BEH2 and BEH4 without having BEH1, for example, that's really uncommon. He also does not have BEH3, does not have blue eye haplotype 3. So he's quite dark in color, but he does have one light allele in BEH2, which is by far the most important variation when it comes to the pigmentation of eyes and hair. So if he went ahead and married a girl with the same genotype as him when it comes to OCA2, of course, not the entire genotype, but genotype in OCA2, there is a chance that he would have a blue-eyed and blonde kid. Very possible. Let's go ahead and check what he scores for the ethnic calculator. So it looks like for the ethnic calculator, and this by the way was based on 369 SNPs, which is quite a lot, but then again, it's also maybe not as good as you can get, because my tool, with really good files, you can get 600 plus SNPs in your results. So it looks like based on 369 SNPs, he's closest to Bulgarians, followed by Belbeakers from Britain, followed by Belbeaker, followed by globular amphora culture, followed by funnel beaker culture, followed by Spanish, followed by British, French, corded ware, and North Italians. So pretty European, maybe more Central or Southern European result, but a pretty European result. This individual resembles Europeans, you could say. Let's go ahead and check his polygenic risk scores. It looks like he's got a below average score for schizophrenia, which, by the way, every single Anatolian Neolithic farmer I've looked at so far has. He's got a above average score for type 2 diabetes. He's got a below average score for Alzheimer's. He's got a below average score for multiple sclerosis, and 0 risk variance out of 6 for breast cancer, 6 out of 14 risk variance for testicular cancer, really typical. 0 out of 4 for celiac disease, by the way, very low quality file. Only 4 variants found for celiac disease is really low quality. 0 risk variance out of 0 for GSS, once again, really low quality file. And 3 out of 14 for Crohn's disease, which is pretty typical. Once again, quite low quality file. Typically, you're supposed to see a lot more. Alright, let's check what he got for the monogenic traits. So he's got, it looks like heterozygous genotype in Combs-Valmet variation, so intermediate phenotype between warrior and warrior phenotype, intermediate dopamine levels. Also, one derived no-go-learner variant in DRG2's Pro-Phenetine Pro. Once again, heterozygous genotype in Pro-Phenetine Pro, so it looks like intermediate number of dopamine D2 receptor sites in the brain as well. He does not have the A allele and TAC1, so very, very typical genotype in TAC1. Slightly higher number of dopamine D2 receptor sites in the brain. It looks like he's got short form 5-HTTLPR, so slightly higher or pretty much average odds of depression. And he does not carry the European lactose persistence mutation. If you took an ancestry test, they would say, hey, you're lactose intolerant. When it comes to the empathy gene, it looks like he's got 2 variants for higher levels of empathy in this variation, which I think is the most important variation for OXTR and empathy in general. I'm not sure what the impact of every variation out of these 4 is, but from what I've read, this one is the most impactful. So he's not a sociopath, that's good. It looks like he does not have type 1 diabetes, really good. It looks like for Alzheimer's not much was found, but based on these two genotypes he's got a slightly decreased risk of Alzheimer's. For multiple sclerosis, it looks like he does not have any risk variants for multiple sclerosis in the HLA gene. We're gonna skip myopia. No micro-P, really good to see. Smaller cranium and lower IQ. Well, that doesn't matter all that much. All the contributions from these IQ SNPs are not that great. It looks like he's a mix of muscle types, likely more sprinter than endurance athlete, and no fat gene variants in FTOs RS9949609, so he does not have a predisposition to obesity. Really good to see. Also, no variants for increased pain sensitivity in SCN9A. Once again, really good to see. And no East Asian EDAR, so very typical European genotype in EDAR. We're gonna skip drug response. We're gonna skip albinism. We're gonna skip familiar Mediterranean fever. We're gonna skip MTHFR. For cancers, it looks like he's got, for testicular cancer in particular, it looks like he's got a typical genotype. 2 times reduced risk of testicular cancer in this variation, but 3 times increased testicular cancer risk in this variation. So it looks like kind of a typical result, actually. Alright, for leukemia, lower risk of leukemia. We're gonna skip rare diseases, besides nothing here is found. We're gonna skip celiac disease. We're gonna skip allergies. Crohn's disease, we're gonna skip that. And finally, for Canavan syndrome, it looks like he's got 0 risk variants out of 4, which is really good to see. No risk variants for Canavan syndrome. By the way, Canavan syndrome is very common in Mediterranean people and in Jews in particular. And for HIV, it looks like he's got a good genotype here as well. It looks like he's got 1 protective variant in this variation, which leads to a 60% reduction in HIV viral load, which means you're less likely to transmit HIV. It also means the time it takes for your HIV to turn into AIDS is going to be a lot longer. Really good to see. It looks like it's a very common genotype. The allele that protects from HIV, the allele that causes a reduction in HIV viral load, seems to be pretty common in Anatolian Neolithic farmers, because this is not the first time I'm seeing this. Actually, I don't think so far. Well, I updated my site to include this HIV and AIDS panel just yesterday, so maybe I don't have a very big sample, but so far I'm seeing a lot of reduction in HIV viral loads. And this is, by the way, this is supposed to be rare, so maybe these Anatolian farmers carried this mutation at a rate that's not seen anywhere in the modern humans. That might be interesting. Alright, that's pretty much all I had to say here. Thanks for watching my video until the end. You can download this file in 23andMe format from link which is in the description of the video. And of course, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Comment if you find something interesting. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.